What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds, talking authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. And we have got quite a few topics to get through today on this Saturday. Beautiful afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? It is afternoon. Beautiful afternoon. We've got Bruno Fernandes' future that we definitely need to discuss. Romano put something out on his Instagram story last night that was a bit like, well, hold on a minute, what's going on here? Is he moving? Why is he talking to other clubs? Is his agent pushing for a different contract? Hello, David. Hello, everyone in the chat. We'll definitely get into that. Dortmund want to loan Sancho again because they cannot afford the full package. I'll talk about that. Tosin Aderbayoi to Chelsea. It was a target that we was looking at and a target I felt we should have got at least for depth on a free. Well, they say on a free, it'd be like 100 grand a week, but I thought that was an interesting player who we could have been taking a look at as that kind of extra second centre-back. Kobbie Mainoo was one player of the month. Fergie's been spotted somewhere with a certain individual, which I'll talk about. And of course, you've got the Champions League final tonight as well, which I want to get into, and I want to get your predictions. So as always, smash a like on the video, subscribe to Real Reds Talk. Help us hit, like we're on at the moment, 5,186 subscribers. So if you can help us hit that, that would be absolutely tremendous, people. But as always, just get involved in the comments. That means more to me, and get your opinions in. So, Bruno Fernandes, on Fabrizio Romano's Instagram last night, he put Bruno Fernandes' agent, Miguel Puino, has been around Europe this week to meet with important clubs and to discuss situations of his clients, including Bruno Fernandes. Bruno's intention remains to win at Manchester United. Bruno will make a final decision on his future when he understands the United project, including the manager situation, which is still stalled, which hasn't been resolved yet. Ineos are still taking the time over it. We've got a transfer market opening in less than 2 weeks. We've got contract situations that we need to deal with. We've got players coming back that we probably need to sell as well. So we need to make a decision, sharpish. And I'm sure Ineos are looking into this. But let me just say one thing. If Ineos fumble this and we lose Bruno this summer, I will be absolutely livid personally. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of United fans who want a similar path. You can do a lot worse things than selling Bruno Fernandes. Trust me, that is the least of your worries. So, in terms of the contract situation, obviously Bruno's getting into that age now, 30 years old, where you're looking at it and it's like similar to Casemiro in a sense where you want that security, you want that next 5-year deal, 4 or 5-year deal. So I imagine Ineos will probably be looking at this and they'll be saying, do we really want to give him another 4 years, let's say? I don't know how long he's got left in his contract. I think it might run out in 2026 or maybe 2025. I think he's got 2 years left. But then you're looking at it saying, do we offer him another 5 years on, he's on 200 grand a week now. You'd have to probably make him the best earner or at least up there because, if Rashford's on more than him, he's the best player at the club and he's the captain. So by that kind of measuring stick, he should probably be on the most. So how do you handle that? Do you give him a contract and you say, yeah, it's 350k a week. And then, what happens is his body starts catching up, he starts picking up injuries, and it's a very delicate, difficult situation. And I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on it because I'd love to keep him at the club for obvious reasons. But yeah, Richard's in the chat saying, morning guys, Tosin we should have had. I'll get into that in a moment. The only way Bruno leaves is if he wants to. Chelsea have always sold flops to United. We should avoid their deals. I'm going to talk about Chalobah in a minute. Random guys saying Chalobah is no flop. I agree. What we're seeing in TikTok, Bruno Fernandes contract situation. How do you handle that? I think personally, putting that out through Romano. Well, I don't think he's done it specifically through Romano, but obviously Romano knows agents in football and has very good ties with him. And putting something out like that's a bit of a feeler to say, look, we want a new contract. We want to start discussing this, and I believe Bruno wants it sorted before the Euros, which is in 2 weeks. So we've got this period now for the next 14 days where you have to get a lot of shit done. And I know Ineos are probably working on it tirelessly behind closed doors, but this is a moment that's going to define you as, partial owners or whatever going forward. This next 2 weeks especially. If you look at the flip side of things, if he was to sell him, I don't want to sell him, so let's just put that out first. I don't want to sell him. But if there was, how much would he be worth? How much could you get for Bruno Fernandes in today's climate and market? Look, like I said, he's 30 years old, but we bought Casemiro for 60 million quid, let's say, for example. So how much is he worth? How much do you guys think he's worth? Bruno, talk to me. Let's read out some chats. I mean, when Dennis Irwin got to 29, he was getting 2 years, then a year after that. We cannot give him another 5 years, says Richard. I think that's a very good point. Trotters on tour, follow the live creator, thank you very much. United going down, says Huffer. Absolutely not. Stop talking nonsense. A lot of people joining and following, but no one's getting the comments, man. What's happened? Why is everyone quiet? It's because it's Saturday, innit? Everyone's either having a barbecue or they're running the beers or whatever. But yeah, it's probably worth what? 70 mil now? 60, 70 mil for Bruno? If Saudi come in, I mean, you're going to get a decent chunk of change, aren't you? And he's going to get decent wages, which is probably... I think Bruno Fernandes is too good to go to like a Saudi league or something. He's still top world-class potential. He's shown that. Not in potential, but he's shown that in the final against Manchester City. I mean, transfer market, I've got him listed as like 70 million euros, I think. Which I'm not saying you can always go off that, but that's like kind of the rough estimate price. Richard saying, I don't want to sell him, but if someone offered 100 million, I would think about it. Well, that's the big question. That was literally going to be my last question on this topic. Let's ask you guys, right? I'm going to leave it to, I'm not going to give my opinion on this. If Saudi Arabia, a team from Saudi Arabia, not the whole country, of course, came in now and they said, look, we'll give you 80 to 100 million for Bruno, would you take it? Yes or no? Mark saying you can't sell the club's most creative player and best signing post Fergie. Daniel saying I'd give Bruno 2 years. But what if Bruno turns around saying, I want a long-term deal? I want 5 years. What do you turn around and say that? MUFC saying definitely not. Chris saying absolutely not. 3 Dogs and a Parrot says happy to sell anyone that refuses to play. Eric Ten Hag is removing player power. Listen, Bruno Fernandes ain't refusing to play. I don't know where. I don't believe that nonsense. Not a chance is he refusing to play. He's the last person. Chris was saying he'd give it him. I don't know, because we've been stung so many times with them kind of deals. I'm very, very hesitant. 5 years is a lot. No, he'd be 35 years old. You know, and like I mentioned, the way Bruno Fernandes plays, puts his body on the line every single game, plays every single minute, more minutes than anyone. He's had more appearances under Ten Hag than anyone. It's got to catch up with him at some point. I genuinely, I think his body will start breaking down maybe into the second year of that contract. And then again, we'll be sat here saying, why did we give him a big deal? Why is he on 350 grand a week and blah, blah, blah. So I think you have to go probably somewhere in between. A 2 year with an extension, maybe one. Give him a bit of a bump, 250 grand. But at least put him on the same wages that Mount's on. Mason Mount's on 250 grand a week. You know? So you've got to box clever with that one. My biased answer is 100 million, but most likely around 60 to 75. I'd agree with that, Random. Raynator says if Mount was 55, Bruno is 105, but Mount's 24, and you've got to sell on with that as well. So that you have to take that into consideration. Neil is saying if Bruno does leave, don't blame him. Interesting. We can't sell our captain, but if he wants to leave, then okay. No, I wouldn't sell Bruno for 80. Bruno's the sort of player that would take a pay cut. Probably. If anyone was to get massive pay increase in contract, was Bruno, not Rashford. Well, yeah, they probably should have done it the other way around, shouldn't they, if you're looking at it in that sense. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Bruno Fernandes. I'm sure there's going to be some updates on that within the next 7 days. So do turn on your notification bell because we will go live when that happens. I'm going to move on to the Jadon Sancho story. And it's coming out from Sky Sports in Germany. So Borussia Dortmund can't afford to sign Jadon Sancho from United on a permanent deal as it stands. The whole package is too expensive for them. Another loan deal is a possibility. Listen, first and foremost, let me just speak to Dortmund specifically, right? You would not catch me shopping at Gucci. Do you know why? Because I can't afford it. You have to be realistic. I can't afford it. You can have a look. You can walk in. You can browse the bags. You can look at the shoes, the loafers, whatever you want. And then you look at your bank and you realise you've got £6.86 and you probably struggle to get 2 meal deals across the line. So in reality, Dortmund can say, oh, we don't really like him, but we'll rent him or we'll look. It's not Blockbuster, mate. R.I.P. Blockbuster. It's not Blockbuster. You can't, we're not just going to loan him every year and just have a £70 million player just floating away. I don't care if he's arguing with the manager or not. So the main point of the story is stop coming at us with this long crap. How many times has that happened with United where we never get a player sale? It's always, oh, we'll just loan him out and see what, and pay half his wages because we've got mug written on our heads. Like Martial, for example, like Pereira, I think went out on loan for example. Loads of other players. Alexis Sanchez to Inter Milan, and we were still paying like 300 grand a week for a shit player to be on their books. It just does make no sense whatsoever. So either I just say to Jadon, look, if you want to play at Dortmund, mate, take a pay cut. Unless you're coming back and you're going to be in the team. If you really don't want to play under this manager, let's see. Show your cards. Let's have it. If Dortmund can't afford you, not going. We're not just going to loan you again for a second year. And if they do it, they're fucking stupid. They're absolutely stupid. Excuse me. Got a cough. I think it's interesting because obviously the elephant in the room is you've got the Champions League final tonight. Jadon Sancho is in a Champions League final. If he wins that, or not just him, obviously it'd be Dortmund, but if he wins that, then that could be a little bit of an embarrassment. And Sancho's got the upper hand there. But at the same time, the club are like, all right, well, I don't know what clause they put in because I know like the more they advance in the Champions League, the more money was made. I think Matt Hargreaves put that clause in when he was negotiating the loan deal for Sancho. And obviously we made like an extra £4 million off it. So I don't know if there's something in there that if he wins the Champions League, we get a bit of extra moolah as well. I have no idea. But I do think that's going to be the big talking point tonight. If Dortmund win it, every man and his dog are going to be talking about Sancho and how Ten Hag's fumbled the bag and how he's wrong and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I think that dynamic, you'll see a bit of a power shift in that sense. But, yeah. Hey, Nick, it's Jake. Hello, Jake. Hope you're good, mate. Hope you're well, buddy. Come on, Sancho. Bruno doesn't want to leave, he said himself. Well, his agent's putting the feelers out with clubs, so make of that what you will. He said he doesn't want to leave, but if United want him to go, he will. Is that Sancho you're on about, or Bruno? Will he start? Will he start in the final? Is that tonight? Wait, I'm starting to think. Is it tonight? The final, isn't it? I'm not smoking something, am I? Yeah. So I think the dynamic with Jadon Sancho is going to be very, very interesting. And if we loan him out again, what's the point? We need money. We need cash money, moolah this summer. You can't be loaning players out. You think if you can manage this summer to sell, let's say Casemiro for 25, Wan-Bissaka for 30, Jadon Sancho for 70, that's 125. You've got another budget there in itself. But it's his wages. This is why you don't give out stupid wages. £300,000 a week. No club's going to look at that and go, no, even like Dortmund can't afford it. They've said multiple times they can afford probably the price. They could probably afford 50 million quid, especially if they win the Champions League. But they can't afford his wages. It'll just completely destroy the wage structure. Champions League final won't be on YouTube this year. Oh, will it not? Interesting. Sancho for 70? Nah, we won't get 70 for him. We won't. I'm telling you now, we won't get 70 million quid for him. Not a chance. John O'Mahoy says, at the end of the day, irrespective of the argument, Sancho has been brutal for United. If he plays a blinder and scores, there may be a bidding more for him. Good riddance. I hope so. If there's a silver lining, John, I'm hoping it's that, effectively. I'm hoping it's, and more eyeballs. Same thing with the Mason Greenwood situation. He's killed it at Getafe, done really, really well. Now there's interest in Spain, Italy, Turkey, Saudi Arabia. So, as long as we get the money and sell him, sweet. Same thing with Jadon Sancho. 50 million quid, get him off our hands. He's got a dispute with the manager. Just get rid. It's just best for all parties. But then again, Ineos might get rid of the manager and Sancho might come back and he might end up as a starter for the club. Football's that bizarre of a sport. It can happen. Right, let's move the discussion on to another transfer target coming inwards, or was supposed to be coming inwards. As I'm sure a lot of you would have already heard I imagine, Chelsea are closing in on a deal to sign Tosin Aderbayoi. The negotiations are at a final stage. Now, this has two talking points. One, he was a target for us, maybe as a bit of depth. I don't think it was ever a very serious target, but we were certainly kind of deploying our interest in there. So, one, that's interesting because it could have been a good option for depth. He was one of the players that I had when I did the video of how Man United could line up next season. It wasn't that. It was the 5 centre-backs to replace Rafael Varane, sorry. he was one of the options as a free, but more as like a depth. You know, if you're going to buy two, buy a Lenny Yoro and then buy a Tosin Aderbayoi, for example. So, with that in mind, Chelsea have to sell Trevor Chalobah for 25 million quid. Some people are calling him, you know, an academy flop and, yeah, get rid of him and blah, blah, blah. I've seen quite a lot of people on the other side saying, actually, he's a decent centre-back. Chelsea shouldn't be selling him. But because of FFP implications, they've got to sell players like Conor Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah, and Amanda Brozier, apparently. So, I think Chalobah's a decent option for 25 million quid. I don't think he's going to want to be guaranteed to start. He's going to want game time. But you can say to him, look, if you go on the trajectory that we think you're going to go on, you'll make your way into the team. You know, we're going to sign another young centre-back who we think's got a lot of potential. But, you know, you could end up being Lissandro's partner. In terms of watching him play, I haven't watched him play loads. I've seen bits of him. And whenever, especially towards the back end of the season, I think he's done really, really well. I think he's looked sound. You know, physically, can handle himself. Decent pace about him. Good in duels, from what I've seen. I don't know how good he is on the ball. But then again, if you have Lissandro Martinez alongside him, then it's not the end of the world, is it, in that sense? You can kind of play to each other's strengths. Love how these fans think Ineos are the same as the Glazers. Nobody knows what's going on, and the difficulty with the cash flow. Ineos are keeping their charges close to their chest. Manly Tide says, our dear club died for the second time when Ratcliffe came. What hurts more is we as fans are helplessly mourning its streams for years now. Okay, very dramatic. Sancho 40 mil or 50 mil. Chelsea's my second favourite club, so I watch them quite often, says random guy. Chalobah is an above-average centre-back. His passing is very impressive. He's very confident on the ball. That is what I like to hear. If you look at centre-backs in the modern age, take it. Chalobah, we be a bad market for Man United. Dortmund sold Bellingham and can't afford Sancho. You're having a laugh, lad. Am I saying they can't afford him? I don't know why do people say I'm having a laugh as if I run Borussia Dortmund and I'm the one sat there saying, yeah, they can't afford it. They're putting out in the media that they can't afford it. So therefore, I am reporting that. What are you talking about? Honestly, people, death. Get your ears checked. But yeah, Tosin Aderbayoi, Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea have just looked at this deal and they've just gone, you know what? Yeah, let's just... Everyone else seems to be interested in it. Whenever it's just Todd Bowley gets a sniff of a deal, he's like, yeah, we'll just... I bet the wages they're offering is ridiculous. Because I'm sure Newcastle had it streamlined and he was looking at it and he was saying 100k a week. Our managers, Eddie Howe, you know, we want to get back into Europe. We're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's a step up from Fulham. Do you want to come? And he was like, yeah, let's see what other options. Chelsea come in, bang. And I guarantee they've offered more money. I guarantee it. I haven't seen any details about that at the moment. But yeah, Jacob Steinberg's just reported Tosin Aderbayoi's impending arrival at Chelsea could also hasten the departure of Chalobah, who's emerged as a target for United. He could be sold for around 25 million quid. Interesting. So yeah, again, we'll wait and see how that develops. It could be an option. You know what I mean? United will not get the same money for United paid... What? United will not get the same money United paid Dortmund for Sancho. Absolutely not. We won't get 70 million quid. Not a chance. Not a chance. Dortmund will lowball it and try saying 30 million. Nick, you own Dortmund? Apparently so. Apparently I own Dortmund, according to Ben in the chat. They're not putting out no club states there. Financial state, you thick and Chelsea said they won't spend. I mean, that's not even English. I don't know if English is your first language, but that is not even English. Fergie didn't have United of the 2020s behind him and spent 450 million. This comparison is absurd. Do you think this quote bolsters Ten Hag's case to stay or add fuel to the fire of the Ten Hag outers? Oh, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Fergie didn't have United the 2020s behind him and spent... I'm always careful about comparing certain managers in certain areas. I think football's changed so much nowadays. It's hard. Like, no managers get time nowadays. Everyone's just quit. Everything wants everything quick. This kind of, I would say genre that we live in here, but this Gen Z world that we live in, everything just wants everything quick. It's instant. Everything's stat-based. I don't know. It's a bit mad, isn't it? A little bit mad, in my opinion. How much you reckon we get for Bruno if he goes? I think, like I said before, I don't know, 70 million. I reckon, probably. Didn't Dortmund just sell Bellingham? Believe me, they've got money to spend. Well, random, you kind of agreeing with Ben there. Ben in the chat saying that as well. I'm not saying they've not got the money, especially to win the Champions League as well. They have. I'm just saying they're putting the stuff out there to say, we ain't got it. You know what I mean? They're like hiding that little bit of cash behind the back saying, we ain't got it. So I'm saying, look, United, you're going to have to be tough on this one. Be firm with him. Turn around and say, look, you know what? You don't give us 50 million quid. You ain't getting him. He's returning back to United, and we'll use him as a player. No problem, mate. That's all you have to do. Don't say saying, oh, well, yeah, we'll loan him, and we'll do an obligation to buy. And they're like, no, we'll just an option. You know, we might fancy it towards the end of the season, might not. And that's where United have to be firm. You have to turn around and go, no. He's coming back towards you. Either buy him, or he's coming back. Simple as that. And we'll look at other clubs, and we'll talk to other clubs. That's what I think they should do. Selling Bruno would be a terrible idea. It'd be extremely difficult to replace that. I agree. A lot of smart people in the chat today. Right, let's move on to the next topic. Kobbie Mainoo is Manchester United's Player of the Month for May. Now, I'm just thinking, who did we play on? Let me get the fixtures up, because I'm trying to remember certain moments from that kind of period. So, right. Man City final, obviously scored, had a brilliant game. Brighton, he was relatively good at, from what I can remember. He scored against Newcastle. I think he scored the opening goal in that game. United Arsenal, a bit of a not a sure one. Palace and Man United, oh shit, was that the same month? So the start didn't really go to plan. But I'd say the past 3 games in May, he's been phenomenal. He's been really, really good. And he absolutely deserves it. And I'm so excited to see how he gets on next season. Because obviously he only came in at November, didn't he? He was injured, got injured in that pre-season friendly against Real Madrid. Everyone was absolutely devastated. And then since he's come back in, he would have won Player of the Season. Had he been fit from the start, I'm absolutely convinced of it, he would have won Player of the Season. He's going to go to the Euros. I'm interested to see how he gets on at the Euros. I think there's only going to be, maybe just him as a United player starting, depending on Maguire and Shaw's fitness. He'll be the only United player in the team, I think. So, you know, he's representing. I'm hoping he's going to start in the midfield with Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. I don't know what they'll do with Foden. Obviously, I just know Southgate, he's not going to play Foden, Bellingham and Rice, in my opinion, in the midfield. I think he'll push Foden out on one of the wings, on the left wing, Saka on the right, and I think he'll play Bellingham, Mainoo, and Rice eventually. Maybe not in the first game. Maybe he'll go with a bit more of an industrious kind of Conor Gallagher in the midfield. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm excited to see how he gets on in the Euros, get him back for pre-season, keep him fit, and let's see a full season under his belt, how he can perform. Because imagine if this kid improves. He's already amazing right now. Imagine if he improves and gets better and better. That is a serious, serious player you've got in your hands there. A generational talent. And rival fans will tell you different and say, oh, he's just an average fucking whatever. He's not. He's not. And that isn't even bias. He's one of the best young talents. 100%. Top player, man. Sesko to Arsenal. The league is over. I really like Sesko. I really, really like Sesko. I have to be honest. I was gutted about that transfer because I wanted United. Anyone who's been in this channel and chat before know I like Sesko, man. Big, huge fan of him. So, yeah, I think that's a fantastic coup for Arsenal. For 40 million quid as well. No-brainer, in my opinion. No-brainer. Whilst we're on the talk of transfers, the last story I'm going to give you is... Let me try and see if I can put the picture on the screen, actually. So, Sir Alex Ferguson was spotted leaving... I don't think it was a club. Leaving a members club in Mayfair with Dougie Freedman, apparently. So, let me put it on the screen for you. This is the picture. I mean, it's not exactly like fucking, you know, breaking news, Britney shaved her hair off. But, you'll see what I mean. Let me just bring this on. So, that's the picture there. Let me just stretch that for you. Bit of live editing. Just chop that. Bring that down. Man like Fergie, is he still working on transfers? That's the big question. You know what I'm saying? Do that over there. Sorry, people. You can't see that in the TikTok. Why is that not stretching? Right, I'll just do it like that. I know it's a bit thingy. But, yeah, so he was spotted leaving a Mayfair members club, which I have no idea. When I first saw the headline, I was like, private members club. Like, what? I don't know if anyone else thought that as soon as you saw like the kind of headline, but that's the first thing that popped into my head instantly. But anyway, spotted leaving the thing with Dougie Freeman, and that's got a lot of people talking, saying, you know, is he working on a deal? Shit, where's that gone? Sorry. Is he working on a deal for a lease? He's not a sporting director. He's not Jason Wilcox. He's not a chief negotiator, so I doubt it. But is he putting the feelers out? I don't know. I know he knows Dougie Freeman very, very well. And I know he's recommended him to Man United, but I'm pretty sure Dougie Freeman has just signed a new contract with, not a contract, but is it a contract? I'm guessing it's a contract. A new contract with Crystal Palace, so he's staying there. So it's not to do with the talks of him coming to United and being in charge of recruitment or academies or working with Wilcox or anything like that. So I'm just interested to see what that's about. Random guy in the chat has just gifted another membership. What an absolute legend. And Neil DeScroll, you were gifted a membership by Random Guy, so you have access to any of the exclusive content that we've got on the channel. So that's from Random Guy. What an absolute legend he is. Yeah. Big up, Random Guy. Big guy. Well, not a big guy. I don't know if you're a big guy or not, but big. You know what I mean? Like, just personality. Playing forward in the midfield is a little bit too advanced for England. Playing a more balanced midfield in Bellingham, Mainoo and Rice would be better. John O'Mahony says, I think Kobbie's amazing, but unfortunately, our only generational talent is Mason. Disagree. If you don't think Kobbie Mainoo is a generational talent, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Random guy, well done, buddy, and welcome, Neil DeScroll. Neil DeScroll, got yourself a membership, buddy. Check out them videos. If you want to become a real Red Ultra member and join this community, the link is in the description, or you can just click the join button next to the notification bell. We've got a video coming out on Man City's 115 charges, and it goes in depth, and we give our opinions on it, and we've got a whole show featured on that, and when it's going to be announced, and when it should be dealt with, and all the in-betweens with that. So if you want to check that out and get some early access to that, then yeah, become a member. Apart from that, if you could smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely incredible as well. We're on 5,186 subs, so we're 14 subs off 5,200. If there's anyone in TikTok who wants to click the link in the description, then yeah, and come and join us over on YouTube, that'd be absolutely amazing. So we've got about 3 or 4 minutes towards the end of the show. If anyone's got any questions, any topics that I haven't covered, any breaking news recently, I'll quickly discuss or answer any questions or anything like that at all in TikTok or YouTube. Let me know. Richard's saying, great members content. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, brother. Stephanie's saying, big up, everyone. Hello, Steph. I hope you're okay. McMillan's saying, send Sancho back to London to climb back into his cage at Palace. Oh, wow. Very strong words there. What are we saying? A lot of people very happy in the chat. It's weekend. It's Saturday, innit? We've got the Champions League final tonight. I'm sure I'll get a couple of beers out and just relax. That's the plan for me, at least, anyway. TikTok, drop us a follow. Smash the like button. People going back and forth on transfers and, yeah, really having a debate in there, which is nice to see, I suppose. If not, we'll leave it at that. We're nearly half an hour mark, so unless there's any more comments, I shall head off and leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll have Sunday social tomorrow. What do you think of Job Bellingham going to Crystal Palace? If Dougie Freeman's got his fingers on that, I think that tells you everything you need to know. You look at the talents he's brought through at Palace, he has an eye for it. So, yeah. Footballing agents ruling and ruining football, as always. You know the crack with that, Steph. You know the crack. They have too much power, in my opinion. But that's only going to grow and get worse, unfortunately. Anyway, I will leave it at that. Thank you. I know I've said that a million times. Sorry. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Leave a like on the video for us if you can. Drop us a follow on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. We've just put a reel out recently from the show yesterday about stay silent until you think a manager appears that's better than Eric Ten Hag. So go and check that out and let us know your thoughts on the clip. And yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next one. You're all a bunch of legends. I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll